I want to explain first the scope of our collaboration. You know that Safran is not a large aerospace security and defense company, and we develop a lot of systems for aircraft, aero engines, or landing gear, nacelles, and so on, flight controls. In all these pieces of equipment, you have large parts of embedded electronics and software. And so to catch the value of that electronics and software, which may represent a rather high ratio in our equipment, we have developed significant capabilities within our group. And Safran is not very much known, but is really a large player, major player in terms of aircraft electronics. Let's call it avionics if you want. Our business in electronics is very specific because this has nothing to be compared with consumer electronics. We have highly sophisticated technology, mostly real-time. We have stringent power and mass characteristics for electronics on aircraft. We have robustness requirements to sustain the flight environment. Overall, in the overall industry, our characteristic is to have a very high grade in terms of reliability, safety, dependability, and security. So this is really core capabilities that we have developed these past years. And this kind of electronics also is evolving a lot because we have much more electronics devices in our equipment than in the past. And this electronics is distributed everywhere in the aircraft, on every pieces of equipment. So for doing that, for having intelligent, smart devices everywhere, you need some kind of electronics that is new, with new technologies. And this is really in that area that we will collaborate with the two institutes. Just to tell you about our forces in electronics in the group, we have two main companies that have these capabilities. We have Sagem. Sagem is a company doing its own business in flight controls, navigation systems, UAV, all sorts of different systems. But this company, Sagem, has also a division called Safran Electronics, where you have all the technical capabilities for the overall group. So this is roughly 1,600 people working for the group on electronics and software. And you have a second company, which is known also in India, is Morpho, that has the capability of embedded electronics and software for security and identification systems. So the work that will be done with IITD and Indian Institute of Science of Bangalore will be managed by Safran Electronics. So there is a roadmap within Safran Electronics that incorporates these two projects, meaning that these two projects are really in the core of our technology strategy. And we will be helped also by a division of Safran that is settled in Bangalore, Safran Engineering Services India. And this division, it's not very much known, but half of the people, roughly, or half of the workforce is involved in embedded systems development, so they are participating to the Safran projects in close relationship with the teams in France. So this is the global scope of our collaboration. Now, perhaps I can try to explain in simple words what our Indian colleagues will do. with IIT Delhi, we will address what we call the computational efficiency of system on chip. System on chip means small circuits that can be located close to the equipment and that performs computations to, for instance, to control an actuator or to identify any precursor signals of something going wrong. So such system on chip must embed algorithm that do not require large computational resources. So this is something IIT Delhi will develop, and this will be useful for system on chip for aircraft, but also could be integrated on your smartphone to make face recognition algorithms. So this is a very generic work, but that is really a challenge. It's easy to describe it. It's more difficult to do it, but I'm sure that Professor Jayadeva in IIT Delhi will succeed. Second project with the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore will address the innovation of massively parallel computation for embedded electronics, which is one of the main challenges for the next generation aerospace systems. Parallel computing is something that is usually used every day for doing numerical simulation for engineering on the Earth, in your lab. So it's mature standard technology, but when you transfer that kind of computational architecture in embedded systems, in critical systems like aerospace systems, this is much more challenging. Because this application must be predictable, and when you have 256 computational nodes in your computer, you must be sure that you will not have a bug, because in aerospace systems you cannot afford bugs. So you must be sure that we'll fulfill the mission. You can reconfigure the computational architecture if something goes wrong on one of the nodes and get the mission fulfilled. So for this we will use a technology that was developed by the Indian Institute of Bangalore. It's the redefined platform. That is a platform that can do the job for some kind of applications, I would say, on the Earth. This has been developed now by a small company called Morphing Machines. So we will work with Morphing Machines and with the Professor Nandi in the Iisc Bangalore, and we will try to verify that this technology can be applied on aerospace systems, and we can demonstrate that in any case the computational architecture is successful until the end of the mission, whatever can be during the mission. So these two projects will be 3-year projects, so it's not simple projects. They are really the core of our technology strategy. So I hope that two projects will succeed, and this will be, I'm sure, the beginning of a long-term collaboration. Long-term collaboration with academia and public laboratories is something that Safran knows how to do. At least in France, we have been developing collaboration for several decades. So I think it's today the start of the same model in India. So I'm very pleased that our friends from Delhi and Bangalore are today there, and I will be much more pleased 3 years from now when we will have successful results.
name is Mary Matthew, and I am grateful for the Safran company to invite us here and have this press release on a very, very momentous and strategic important moment for us. It is a great pleasure because two things are happening simultaneously. One is we are going to engage with this very famous company of France, which is in the aerospace area, Safran, and its group of companies, and its R&D, shall I say, group that is actually forming just now. And this interaction is going to be happening with the Indian Institute of Science. Everybody knows the Indian Institute of Science, so I will not introduce the organization. And it's a leading academic organization in India, as everybody knows. The point is that it is a university-industry interaction. So Professor Nandi, who is from the SERC department, the Supercomputer Education Research Center of the Iisc, well, Iisc has about 48 departments, this is one of them, is the one that will engage with the company on a university-industry R&D interaction on one level. But it is also very momentous for us because there is also the startup which was initially initiated with Professor Nandi, and the startup which will be also interacting with the same company. And that is an important thing because we want to also encourage our startups to have such linkages, and this is one of those kinds of activities that is going to be initiated, and we're very proud to have this initiation with France. We've had at the Institute of Science a lot of academic relationships with France on maths and physics and areas of even water research, but actually not had an industry link-up, which is a formal one, interestingly. Although in the area of aerospace we have links with different countries, and we have all kinds of open innovation, bilateral relationships with various companies of different countries. I think this is one of the first initiations that we have with the industry of France. Yesterday we also had a French delegation that came to Iisc with a whole lot of companies from France eager to work with us, and therefore this seems to be an initial road towards that whole engagement. Having said that, let me just say a few words on how we can engage further with the industry in France and cooperate with France as the Indian Institute of Science on 2 or 3 levels. One is the university industry level, and at the university industry level we can engage with you on R&D projects. We can engage with you on broad umbrella projects, which would mean that these projects go across departments of Iisc, across the 500 faculty that we have. They are multidisciplinary, and as already stated clearly that the aerospace R&D arena has moved so much from the traditional aerospace R&D space into communications, electronics and ICT based kinds of solutions, and therefore we have the traditional aerospace department that has been working with, it's a very large department of Iisc, it's been working with a lot of the companies of different parts of the world. And of course now we have a series of other departments that are engaging in aero, simply because of the ICT role, namely the Iisc department, the Electrical Communications department, the CBT, that is called DESI just now, the Computer Science and Automation department, maybe Mechanical Sciences department. Did I leave out anything, Nandi? These would be more or less the departments that probably, well, the Sense also, which is the Nanoscience department. Some of these are the physics, for that matter, and math, would be the departments, I think, where initially I can see a clear cooperation happening with groups of companies under Safran. That is one, with the industry, academia-industry relationship. On the other side, we do also engage with industry and on the academic side. For example, we do take PhD students from the company, groups of companies at Safran who are doing R&D. We specify that they engage in R&D and permit them to do a PhD with us. So this is called an ERP program in which the industry can actually come and associate with us and do a PhD program inside the Iisc, and a joint degree as it were. And we have a guide from the company as well as from the Iisc, and that's one of the ways in which we can engage. The other one I was thinking of is the R&D center located on the campus. So we do have that engagement also where Safran can come and actually set base on the R&D campus, and then there would be a synergistic relationship between academic departments and the group. So these are the various ways I can see that this whole relationship can go forward, and I really wish this relationship all success. We're very happy to associate with Safran and engage with you, and hope that at the end of 3 years we do have precision, reliable systems coming out of the labs of Iisc, and we wish this all the best. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mary. So good to see you. So much of what you know is that IITs and Iisc are much in the same league, and a lot of commonality between the two. Well, I am Anil Wali. I represent the Foundation for Innovation and Technology Transfer, which is an autonomous body working at the interface of business and research, how to enhance research or industry outreach from IIT Delhi. We are always excited when we have to engage or explore opportunities of engagement with industry, and particularly if they happen to be large industries and tech-heavy industries. So Safran, when it was brought to our attention that we need to collaborate with Safran, so it was always very exciting. We have been engaging or working or collaborating with a lot of transnational companies from the European mainland, aside of other continents. So we enjoy a very healthy working relationship with them. And of course, this is our first brush of engagement with Safran, and we believe that this particular collaborative work that we are embarking on will serve as a model for more deeper engagement all across, because it's not just one department. Well, in this particular case, Professor Jayadeva along with his team is going to work on the identified project. But given the strength, the engineering strength at IIT Delhi, I'm sure a successful outcome of this particular project would egg on more of his colleagues to also propose more joint ventures with Safran or any of your subsidiaries for that matter. I would echo what Mary said with regard to the engagement models that academia in India can have with the foreign countries, or maybe particularly industrial groups like Safran in France. So aside of that, I would want to bring to the attention of Safran top management that we are in the process of establishing science parks, university science parks in the NCR region. And these, as you know very well, are wonderful platforms to deepen and strengthen relationship with industry. And these are not going to be pure commercial establishments, but we are going to insist on participation from an R&D angle. We would want you to establish your R&D or innovation development centers in active association with academia, that is IIT Delhi in this particular case. So I also, like what Barry said, I am also looking for very positive outcomes from the research program that we have started with Safran, and look for more deeper and vital engagement with you on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, we just finalized this press conference with a few facts. I will not discuss about the agreement, the R&D you already know. Just a few facts about Safran, something you could take out with you today. First figure, 2,600 people for the group here. From this, only 5 French expatriates, which is very bad news for me, because it means that we are endangered species in India, but and it's going down every year. Still 5 there out of 2,600. 9 companies, actually 10 since yesterday. You've seen maybe some press release yesterday about the new company, the new joint venture. We are growing strongly in the three sectors: aerospace, defense, security, which is not the case in many countries. One last figure is that we are the average growth for the workforce in India for us the past 10 years is 30%. Just to give you an idea, and you have actually you have a graph here at the entrance. You can see the growth of the group in India. Not saying that this is our largest presence in Asia by far. Now on the few things we are focused at the moment, and you have seen maybe this in the news lately. On the manufacturing side, you might have seen that we signed just the famous Make in India. We are actually, beside the 10 companies, we also signed some agreements lately. You have seen one with Bharat. That's one of the things we're doing, manufacturing more things in India. One other thing is about on the business side. There was yesterday we announced a new joint venture for MRO for military engines in India. On the engineering side, besides R&D and engineering side, we have 700 top qualified engineers in Bangalore, out of the 2,600 people, knowing that this company is growing about 30% per year as well. So it's a strong focus for us on the engineering side. Education, you will see, as we grow in India, we put always more, high-level works. We need some education. We need to train the people. We are also working on it. You might see some news in the coming weeks. And just to finish R&D, so you have this announcement today. That's about all for Safran. You can then, I know you have some questions. You have some documents. You will get some some brochures as well. If you want to.
No, thank you very much. I think it was all very clear. We have a new industrial connections which is starting today. We start after we sign the documents. Maybe we should move to the questions. Sure. Please ask whatever question you may wish to whoever you may wish. Okay.
But it will be, thank you. First of all, can you just clarify, you spoke about Safran Electronics. Is it different to Sadim? And if it is different to Sadim, how is it different? Secondly, can you elaborate a little bit about the objectives and the aims behind this kind of collaboration? And which market, other than India, you are going to cater to with these collaborations?
Okay, so first question is very simple. Sagem is one of the company of Safran Group.
Mm-hmm.
And within Sagem, you have 3 divisions. One division for, let's say, aerospace products, navigation. One division for defense project.
Sorry?
Defense systems.
Defense systems.
And there is a 3rd division called Safran Electronics within Sagem. And that division delivers all the electronics needed by the other company of the groups. For instance, they deliver the engine control units to SNECMA or to Turbomeca. They deliver the landing gear electronic systems to Messi Bugatti Taoti. All the company of the groups works with Safran Electronics to develop their electronics and software.
So the clientele for Safran Electronics
Yes.
is within the group itself?
Yes. This division, the customer of this division are mostly the business units of the group.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Second question, I would answer in this way. In a high technology company like us, but it's not specific to Safran, we cannot have in-house all the scientific knowledge on the planet. So we need to collaborate with public research. This has been identified a long time ago, 40 years ago, something like this, where we began to develop a common lab on materials and all sorts of things. So this is a way of doing R&D, industrial applied R&D with public institutions that are mostly devoted to fundamental, but the meeting on the two culture is something that is beneficial for the company. This model, we want to develop it on the overall planet in countries that are developed in terms of science and technology, or that are more and more developed in that area. So in several parts of the world, we are building up this collaboration with high-ranking scientific institutions. So this is what we have begun with these two institutions in India. And clearly the technologies that we will work on are not specific to the Indian market. They can be applied to Indian market, of course, but they mean technology for the overall systems of the Safran Group, so global wide.
Is it also connected to somehow Make in India initiative by our Prime Minister, which has been introduced recently, just in case?
Just one word on this to come back on what he said. I mean, what the growth of the Safran growth in India is typical to multinational growth in a country like India. Again, 10 years ago, we were less than 500 people here.
Sorry?
10 years ago, we were less than 500, we were 400 or something people here.
All right.
So you start here, well, we've been here for 60 years, selling things, but, selling. Then you come here, you start, for support, then you start manufacturing things for India, just for India. Then you start exporting. That's what we've been doing actually a lot now. We export products from India. And then what's the next step? The next step is engineering. So again, I was mentioning 700 people. The next step is R&D,
Right.
Education. That's the steps we are following. So I mean, to answer your question, the Make in India, obviously we are in it. I mean, totally. That's what we do.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
My question is to Safran Group. You just pointed out that the engineering division is growing at around 30% per year. Is it also linked to the expected growth which you perceive on account of the forthcoming MMRCA contract? And how much of this growth is on account of the engine you supply for the ALH? The helicopter.
LH, okay. Now today the growth is linked to the work we have there. Quite basic. So it's nothing to do with the MMRCA. It's just because the company is growing, because we're using them more and more, knowing that this company is in competition with first of all our internal companies. So it's job you give to France or US or Mexico or India, and it's today, that's one thing. It's primarily internal job. It's primarily today jobs we do in India for our companies. So ALH, for example, we don't work on it today.
Could you repeat that? The ALH piece?
On the ALH today, we don't work on in Longana. We don't work on the ALH in the engineering part. We don't.
This is for the ambassador. Since MMRC has come up, could you give us could you give us an update on where exactly the negotiations stand?
I can give you an update, but maybe not exactly. But all what I would say is absolutely true. It's of course an energy conference because I am not the company, and it is for you to question the company. No, all in all, the negotiations are progressing well. Remember the Minister of Defense made some statement a few weeks ago before the Parliament. There was also a visit of the CEO of Dassault a few weeks ago to interact with the teams in the MOD and Air Force. So all these are signals that we are heading in the right direction, and there is not much else that I could say. I know there is a lot of press reports that you may have seen on some people saying this or that, and I've been asked already the questions. But I think it's it's sad that a grumpy competitor use some bad words, but very sad, very sad. But I'm not going to respond to you. But I can only say that we are absolutely confident that the Rafale flies safely and that it has long-range striking capability, which we have demonstrated in Libya, Afghanistan, Mali, and now in Iraq. So I think that's in the pudding.
How much are you confident or hopeful for signing the MMRCA, if I may ask?
Within this year.
Yeah. Or maybe within the financial year.
Your question is really because nothing here is in my hands. So probably the company can tell you when they expect to finalize the negotiation. The signature is something which, of course, depends on the Indian government itself, and it has to go through a certain process.
surely the France is very hopeful for that. Is that something you would like to
Yeah, I think
say
the
with
negotiations are
conviction?
moving forward. There is no particular hurdle. It takes time. It's a very, very big contract and extremely complex. I think for the first time that we work on such complex operation with TOT, with the partnerships and the offsets and all this. It's a very, very big operation that we well put. And once we have a good paper, I think we're going to be happy. And we'll work for decades again. I remember 64 years, no, 61 years that that's always in India.
Right.
So with this one, we can probably approach century.
longevity?
This is for Safran actually. What is Safran's role in the development of the Rafale?
This is a question of the past, because Rafale was developed a few years ago. So you know, Safran is providing the engine, the landing gears, all the environmental control systems,
Some of the armaments.
some of the arms, so a lot of things. All these pieces of equipment systems are based on mature technologies. So this were technologies developed by my predecessors. So myself and the R&D teams have no longer projects directly linked to the Rafale. Of course, we have some projects, technology projects aimed at the successor of the Rafale. So if one day France or Europe decided to develop a new aircraft, a new combat aircraft, we will propose new technologies. For instance, we have been participating to the demonstration of what we call a UCAV, unmanned combat aircraft called
Euron.
Euron is a project managed by Dassault, but with several companies. We are part of the NON team. So we are working on combat aircraft, but not on the Rafale technologies.
So to answer your question, so it's that Safran is about, in terms of values, about 1/3 of the plane, more or less. That's the engine, that's the landing gear, that's, all kind of things.
One quick question. How Safran Group compare Indian talents versus other global talent? How do you find the quality of talent in India versus the quality of talent outside India?
To be frank with you, today Safran is still a very Frenchy company.
French. Right.
Most of our
Indigenous company.
indigenous company, if you like. So this is the result of the story. Now our market is global. I think that 80% of our products are for outside France. This is normal. So we will evolve in diversifying our talents. We have a very actual project. Today within a few days or weeks, we opened a new research center in France, the campus of scientific Paris. But this, we have decided that the staff of this research center, which will be a corporate research center, will have to be multinational. So we have planned, for instance, to recruit, to hire very good Indian scientists for this group. So it's the first step, small step, but it's the first step that is difficult, and progressively we will evolve. Another way of evolving is that we have 700 engineers in Safran Engineering Services in Bangalore. They are doing a very good engineering job. Probably the way they will develop in the future is that they will make more and more high technology development, and perhaps the fact that we are collaborating with the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore will be a way to push them
Further up.
So this is a small answer to your large question.
Right.
Maybe also to come back on the importance of India for the group. As Anna was mentioning, it's today's point might be a bit too French, still. So agreements like this, you don't have many. Actually, you have just one or two in the world, which you can just to prove also, that what we are announcing today is not neutral.
No, I couldn't get it very clearly.
No, agreement like this one today, we don't have that many in the world.
Oh, okay. That speaks on its own.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Rather, we can ask the non-Safran question. Ambassador, recently the Indian government told that the next lot of 6 submarines will be made in India with foreign collaborators. Will the French government be backing your country's submarine making companies into finding collaborators in India?
This is very far from Safran, too. What I can say is that we have seen that this decision was taken, that was waiting for some time, and so that's useful that now some kickstart is done, is given, and I'm sure we're going to look into this and see how we react to that. But response should come very quickly, and partnership will be part of it indeed.
Will the French government say back it or say, in other words, try to bring about the French company with stocks to some other company because you're already working with India?
Yes. Well, if we decide to move forward in that direction, then of course partners will be asked, but that's for the company to decide. I mean, I'm not a technician who can say this one is the right partner or this one is the other one. So they will have their talks, and I'm sure they will be a good partner in India, that's for sure.
I want to talk about this collaboration itself. You said you have many faculties and you gave us a general broad idea. Can you be more specific, please? About the collaboration itself.
Iisc.
In Iisc.
The collaboration with Safran.
And
The collaboration with Safran at the moment is at 2 levels. One is the classic industry-academia relationship, which is coming to the SERC department, which is an R&D project from Safran to Iisc. The second is a collaboration with one of our startups. And the CEO of which is Chandan Haldar. He's at the back somewhere. Yeah, Chandan. He's the CEO of Morphing Machines. And it is a sort of a contract to them. And there is a relationship with that on what we will do also. So it's at 2 levels. And right now it is with the SERC department officially at the university industry R&D level. The other is with the startup.
Can you elaborate on the first point, what exactly it is about?
Which one is it?
The academia collaboration.
The academia collaboration, I'll toss to Nandi. Nandi, you want to take the mic? The dynamic collaboration. redefined.
The academic collaboration will relate to applications that need to be accelerated and trying to find solutions for avionics applications on massively parallel architectures of platforms. And the platforms are what is going to be provided by the technology startup Morphing Machines.
Thank you.
It is in that context that we are happy that France is engaging with our startups, and we would love more from the group also to engage. We have a lot of IT-based startups, and that's another arena I thought, other than placements that was being mentioned. Again, recruitment of PhD students, undergrads, masters is something that we would love to have engagements also with. I hope that answered. Yeah.
Just the same.
In which department?
Which department and which faculty?
Okay, the faculty, the PI in this, the principal investigator in this particular case is Professor Jaydev from the Department of Electrical Engineering. So though it's called Department of Electrical Engineering, but it's a very broad department. So much of the expertise regarding electronics and communication is also residing in that department.
We hope that the relationship will go beyond one department and one faculty, and that's what we are looking forward to also.
You also get positions to also extend your PhD.
Please take the mic.
We also extend your PhD, and I was just wondering whether you have this with other companies also, where
Yes.
you take on PhD and undergrad students.
Yes, yes.
Indeed.
I think all relationships of academia that I spoke of, I think even
Applies to
Anil
us.
has, and I think it's between all of these premier institutions. We engage with industry like this. We also have a fellow. For example, a company can sponsor a PhD student, which is not the ERP program that I talked about, where the industry comes to do a PhD with us. So they can also actually recruit the student separately and provide the scholarship for the student, which otherwise comes from MSRD, to the company. So we're trying to initiate some things like that. And I think the Ministry of IT has a nice schema. They said that if you do 4 students like that, I think with industry, then 1 would be coming from government. So the 5th one. So we are trying to encourage this, where actually the industry comes and sponsors the PhD student. It will be over a 4-year or 5-year period. We're trying to have more such engagements.
And how much budget will be allocated to this team from IIT and Safran?
We are in the project.
For how much investment
Is coming in for the Safran University Industry Engagement. What is it?
So what's the value of our project?
Which one?
For a crore.
24.